Good afternoon from Austin, Texas, and welcome to the National Duels Invitational Selection Show. Alongside David Bray and Shane Sparks, I'm Christian Piles, and we are so excited to select the final 5 teams for the National Duels Invitational sponsored by Paycom. But before we get to the lottery, we're going to check in live from Oklahoma City from Paycom headquarters, the tournament director for the National Duels Invitational, Matt Serber. Matt, how are you doing this afternoon?
Doing good, Piles. Doing good. Excited for today. Excited to get these last 5 teams kind of in, so we got our 16-team lineup for our dual tournament.
Yeah, we're excited as well. And just one other note, we're going to select the 5 teams and 2 alternates, just in case some of the teams are not able. So we'll be drawing 5 total balls from our little lottery machine that we've got here. But first, Matt, first question for you. What is the thought from you guys at Paycom in bringing back the national duels at this level?
Well, you know, the vision for this stems from the desire to create something that wrestling's deserving of, and that's a marquee event with high stakes, top-tier competition, and national attention on it. None of this would be, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Paycom as our title sponsor. They're not only our title sponsor, they're the cornerstone to this event. Paycom's CEO and founder, Chad Richardson, firmly believes in the values of wrestling, his personal connection to wrestling, and that's moving it forward. And so as we go through this, he just wants to elevate it to greater heights.
And what has the response been? You guys announced in January, hey, this is coming. Had an early buzz about it for sure. What has been the response from that time until right now about this event?
Oh, wow. It's been overwhelming. The coaches and the sports admin from the different universities, they're excited about it. Of course, you know, the 2 big things, it's a dual tournament format, and we have the prize money. So that's really exciting. And then from a fan standpoint, our hopes is that we create a kickoff to the season in mid-November yearly, and wrestling fans around the country have new traditions to come and to the national duels and participate and be great fans for this event.
And there's a $1 million purse. Can you talk about that level of investment? And really, it seems like it could be a first of its kind, not just for wrestling, but maybe in all of college sports. Just talk about this sort of financial commitment to an event of this magnitude.
Right. It's transformative investment, right? And so we're going to reward teams for their performance, 1st through 8th place. And that money is going to be paid out to the university, to the wrestling program, to use for travel, expenses, resources, coaching, whatever. And really, it's a way for us to directly pay to invest in the sport and support wrestling long-term success.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you talk a little bit about the format? I understand, you know, it's a 16-team bracket, but maybe some of the other nuances about the bracket in its entirety.
Yeah, so we're going to end up with 16 teams. It's going to be ran over 2 days, and you know, fans really love a dual format, and so they can follow team by team, individual matchups, and they can sit and watch their whole team wrestle from one weight class all the way through its entirety. And so we're excited for that. You know, I think it's going to be a great event, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going down November 15th and 16th. What can fans look forward to between now and then? What are the upcoming things they should be looking out for around the National Duels Invitational?
Yes, certainly. So we're working on ticketing. Ticketing will be coming out rather soon, you know, so fans can be looking for that, get signed up. It's going to be at the BOK Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They're a great host. That's a great venue. And then later in the year, we're going to do a reveal show of the seeds. So we're going to seed the top teams, random draw in the rest. And so, you know, we recognize that we've got our teams selected. And as it gets closer, we will do a better job of seeding the teams as the lineups dictate.
Wonderful. Well, Matt, it's been great catching up with you. Anything else you would like to add about the National Duels Invitational before we get started with Shane and David and get those final 5 teams?
No, I just want to leave you with, you know, it's going to be an exciting event. We're going to have top-tier teams. It's got meaningful stakes. It's going to be a premier wrestling event. We're hoping to have first class, everything we do with it, and just looking forward to it.
We are as well. Matt, thank you so much for coming on. And at this time, we're going to kick it over to David Bray and Shane Sparks. They're going to explain this lottery situation we've got and how we're going to go about selecting the final 5 teams and the 2 alternates.
Well, thank you so much, Christian. Shane Sparks, David Bray, Flow headquarters here in Austin, Texas. And what a day to be a wrestling fan. So much buzz around. As Matt Serber said, this is a premier event. It's mid-November. We all love the timing. And you and I, David, get to invite 5 more teams. We'll also have 2 more alternates. This is going to be a lot of fun.
We've been thinking about this field and what it could look like for weeks. And now, I mean, in just moments, Shane, we're going to know who the 16 teams are, and also, you know what, if anything goes wrong, who the other 2 could be. I can't wait.
So we have 11 teams that have already accepted their invitation. I will give you those 11 teams. We begin with the host school, David Taylor in Oklahoma State, NC State, Ohio State, Doug Schwab in Northern Iowa, the Hawkeyes of Iowa, Michigan, Nebraska, Illinois, Minnesota, Cornell and Virginia Tech, 6 Big Ten teams, 2 from the ACC, 2 from the Big 12, and of course, Cornell from the Ivy League. So great representation across the country to collide inside the BOK Center in Tulsa.
Already an absolutely stacked group of teams, and it's just going to get better when we add these next 5.
So this has been full transparency. We had a Paycom employee come to headquarters here today in Austin from Oklahoma City with the ping pong balls, hand delivered. David, you're going to be making the drawing the ping pong balls. You'll be blindfolded.
That's right.
So let's add the ping pong balls, and the amount of ping pong balls is based on your finish at the NCAA championships this past March in Philadelphia. So Purdue, the Boilermakers, 13th at the NCAA championships, they have the most ping pong balls in this drawing with 12.
Absolutely, and yeah, I'm excited to see these balls go into the hopper. You guys can watch this on the screen as well, and this is going to be some of the last stuff I get to see before I'm completely blindfolded. So 12 balls for the Boilermakers, and they've got Joey Blaze coming back, returning NCAA finalist. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Brian Smith and the Missouri Tigers, 14th in Philadelphia. The Tigers with 11 ping pong balls.
All right, here we go, and Cam Steed, an All-American, and Shane, you can show that bag, dump them in, and there we go.
Next up, here's a team I'm excited about. They were 15th at the NCAA championships. How about Lehigh? 10 ping pong balls for Pat Santoro and company.
Yeah, and Lehigh, show those balls, Shane, for the camera. And those guys, I mean, what an incredible performance. But they've got a couple of their best guys coming back into the lineup this year with Ryan Kirkham and Luke Stanich. I'm excited for that.
All right, so Lehigh was 15th. The Quakers of Penn, they finished 16th, but they have passed on the invitation. So no Penn. That moves us to Little Rock. They were 17th. They have 8 ping pong balls.
Here we go. And the Trojans, what an incredible story. 2 All-Americans each of the last 2 seasons. They have just been phenomenal. And Coach Arizman's going to have them coached up and ready if they get selected here later today.
All right, moving along, we had a 3-way tie for 18th place at the NCAA tournaments. We'll begin with Arizona State. Arizona State, West Virginia, and Stanford all tied for 18th place. Each of those programs gets 7 ping pong balls. As I mentioned, we'll start with the Sun Devils.
And 3 really interesting teams here. Arizona State, they're always in the mix. Coach Zeke Jones, he's got the plan. He's going to put it together, and excited to see what's coming out of Tempe if they get in the field here. And you mentioned, too, the West Virginia Mountaineers. They're getting in the mix. They're going to have the return of Ty Waters, who was out of the mix for injury last year, but he's coming back into the field. So Mountaineers with 7 ping pong balls going into the hopper.
So here is West Virginia. See the Mountaineer logo? What a job Coach Tim Flynn has done in Morgantown.
Yeah, no doubt.
So West Virginia, they're into the mix. And as I mentioned, Stanford's with 7 ping pong balls as well.
Yeah, 7 more for Stanford. What an exciting team they are. They've had some incredible recruiting classes over the last couple years. And while they've already had strong performances, they're going to have, I think, maybe some of their strongest performances coming up in the following season.
Moving along, Navy, the Naval Academy, 21st in the country. They get 4 ping pong balls.
Navy with 2 All-Americans last year. That's awesome. I mean, it is a hard thing to be part of a service academy and to be an All-American at the Division I level. They had 2 of those guys last year, and I know they want more, and they're going to be in the mix here in the hopper.
So Kerry Collette and Navy into the hopper. All right, 22nd in the country, Wyoming. Mark Branch and the Cowboys with 3 ping pong balls.
Mark Branch continuing to do a great job, and you know, I spent my years in Wyoming. I love watching cowboy wrestling. Joey Novak, what a representation for the Cowboys, and we got 3 balls heading into the hopper there for the Cowboys.
Okay, next up, South Dakota State, Damian Hahn and the Jackrabbits, 23rd in Philadelphia at the NCAA Championships. South Dakota State gets 2 ping pong balls.
This is a team that has performed really well at the NCAA Championships over the last couple of years, but they might be an even stronger dual team. And if they get in, you know they're going to bring the heat to Tulsa. 2 Jackrabbit ping pong balls headed into the hopper right now.
Couple Jackrabbit ping pong balls, as you mentioned, into the hopper. And that brings us to our final 3 teams. It was a 3-way tie for 24th place at the NCAA Championships with Maryland, Indiana, and Oregon State. All 3 of those programs will each get a ping pong ball into the mix.
I mean, it's a random draw. How incredible would it be? You got 1 chance out of all these ping pong balls. How cool would it be if one of these teams gets in? They're all strong. And there are strong teams that aren't even invited into the field. There's Maryland headed into the hopper. All-American Jackson Smith. What a performance for him. Who else we got, Shane?
Indiana, the Hoosiers, Angel Escobedo.
There we go.
In Indiana with 1 ping pong ball.
And the last team that's going to be represented in this hopper, Oregon State. They're going to have quite a squad getting ready to come back next year. There they are. There are the Beavers. Head into the mix.
All right, so all 74 ping pong balls are into the mix. 13 teams. We will decide 5 teams. They'll get the invitation. We will also draw 2 alternates. All right.
It's time for my mask, huh?
It is. So David Bray is going to put on the blindfold, and he is blind as a bat.
I can't see anything. By the way, I mean, there's a strong chance that we may draw some repeat teams, and if we do, we're just going to move them off to the side and keep moving. But man, this is crazy. I can't believe we're about to decide the remaining field for this National Duels Invitational.
All right, I think we're good. So 11 teams have already punched their tickets to Tulsa, November 15th and 16th. National Duel Invitational, sponsored by Paycom. And all right, David, we will have you draw, and we will figure out the other teams that will join this amazing event.
All right, here we go. First up, Shane, who do we got?
All right, Mark Branch and Wyoming.
No kidding.
The Cowboys.
The odds of that are low, and they did it. Man, the Cowboys are in. That is wild.
Looking here, they had 3 ping pong balls, 3 of the 74, Wyoming. All right.
That's the great thing about a random draw.
We will put the Cowboys into the case.
Yep. We got 12 teams.
All right.
You going to stir that up a little bit,
Absolutely.
Shane? Randomize it for me.
12 teams. Who will be next? Okay, David.
All right.
Unlatch this.
Got that open. Okay, here we go. Who's next? Who we got, Shane?
The next team, David, they had 8 ping pong balls. Little Rock, Arkansas Little Rock.
The Trojans are in. Man, congrats to Coach Erisman, and what a squad he's put together over there.
All right, moving right along. Want to remind everybody, too, U.S. Open taking place all weekend long on FloWrestling. Some great matches going on. All that action right here on FloWrestling.
Yeah, and some of the teams that are already represented in this field will have athletes in the mix. Oklahoma State Cowboys, they're sending a squad. So, yeah, you're going to want to tune into the U.S. Open.
Okay, David.
All right, here we go.
3 more teams that we will extend the invitations to. Arkansas Little Rock was drawn once again.
Okay, I'll grab another one.
So we will put them over here since they've been drawn, so you'll draw another one. Zeke Jones and Arizona State, the Sun Devils.
There we
will
go.
get an invitational. It's the National Duel Invitational. All right. Arizona State had 7 ping pong balls.
Does that put us at 13, Shane? Do we have 3 left?
That puts us at 14.
Okay.
So 2 left, and then again we will draw 2 alternates.
That's right.
All right, David, spin this up. Who's it going to be?
Man, based on how it's gone so far, I have literally no idea. Feels like one of the teams with 1 ball is going to get in here. I don't know. What do we got?
All right, next up, Lehigh.
All right, Mountain Hawks.
Mountain Hawks.
Good. Yeah, that's a fun team to get in the mix. Like we mentioned earlier, they got Ryan Crookham and Luke Stanich coming back, and that's going to be a squad that Coach Santoro is bringing to Tulsa.
Okay, so we have the 15 teams. 1 more team will get an invitation, and then we will draw the 2 alternates. Okay. So the final 16th team that will get the invitation. All right, David.
All right, here we go. Man, it makes me nervous. Don't know who it's going to be.
It is going to be Brian Smith and the Missouri Tigers.
There they are. Congrats to the Tigers.
Fantastic. So those are the 16 teams that are invited. We will now have 2 alternates.
Okay. All right, first alternate. Who do we got?
First alternate is West Virginia.
Okay,
West
Mountaineers.
Virginia. So the Mountaineers are the first alternates. Okay? And then 1 more team. And our second alternate.
All right. Who do we got, Shane?
Missouri.
Okay, that's a repeat. Who do we got now?
Missouri.
All right, okay. We knew this was possible. Now who?
South Dakota State.
Okay. That's
And
them.
South Dakota State's the alternate.
There we go.
All right. So there you have it. The 16 teams with the invitation, and then our 2 alternates in West Virginia and South Dakota State.
There's no way to have predicted which teams were going to be in that case. But, man, I'm excited to start thinking about this field, breaking it down, and looking at some of the exciting individual matchups because there are going to be so many of those to look forward to.
Wrestling fans have been asking for this for so long. A dual meet format. You have 16 of the best teams in the country. And think about what's at stake here. A total purse of $1 million. The winning team will take $200,000 back to their program. This is going to be a phenomenal weekend of wrestling. I love the timing of it. You said it before, David. This really, really sets the tone for what's going to be a phenomenal season on the Res Light in college wrestling.
Just think about the storylines that are going to come out of this event. You know, we're going to have hundreds of incredible top-tier matchups that are they're going to frame how we think about CKLV and Big Ten dual meets and everything moving forward. I cannot wait. The purse, like you mentioned, never before. It's going to be incredible.
Cannot wait. Again, November 15th and 16th. You will want to be there. Tulsa, Oklahoma, inside the BOK Center, the 2025 National Dual Meet Invitational, sponsored by Paycom. And what a huge thanks to the team at Paycom. All they've done, the work behind the scenes, putting this together, and their investments in our great sport. Thank you so much to Paycom. Going to be a lot of fun to be a part of.
Can't wait. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. For Shane Sparks, I'm David Bray. For Christian Piles and Matt Serber, we'll see you guys soon with more coverage of this great event.